Well, hello mom and gentlemen. Spider-Dash here. You might know me because of my Spider-Man Icebergs, and I am here again, this time to put an end to this trilogy of icebergs. That's right, all of you asked for it, and you will get it. You see, there's this trilogy of Spider-Man movies that doesn't even need introduction. These movies are so apparently innocent that there isn't anything sinister behind them. No, seriously, there isn't anything sinister behind them this time. Or does it? That's why we're going through a deep dive through the MCU's Spider-Man Iceberg. But this time I made this iceberg and I think that it turned out really good. So if you want to see it, I'll leave a link in the description. And before starting the video, I have to mention that literally 0% of you guys are subscribed. That's right, my channel doesn't have subscribed. Only 1.9% of you guys are subscribed. So if you're enjoying my content, give me a like, click the subscribe button and leave in the comments which movie from the MCU's Spider-Man trilogy is your favorite. And with that out of the way, let's begin! Tier 1 Clear Skies. Youngest Spider-Man. Tom Holland is the youngest actor to play Spider-Man. Both Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield were past over their 20s when they played the character. And when Tom Holland first appeared in Civil War, he was 19 years old. Fake leaks. As any other high-profile movie, there has been a lot of leaks for the MCU's Spider-Man movies, like the time that some people said that this suit that resembles a lot the Amazing Spider-Man 2 suit was going to be the MCU suit. Also, there are a lot of fake trailers out there. Also, it is worth mentioning that some of these leaks have been true, like the time when someone leaked the Spider-Man No Way Home trailer. Fandom toxicity. The Spider-Man fandom is known as one of the most toxic fandoms on the internet. All of this started with Spider-Man Homecoming, where people got mad mainly because of two reasons. The overuse of Iron Man in the movie, where sometimes it feels like he's taking the spotlight from Spider-Man, and the fact that the movie doesn't mention Uncle Ben at all. Some Spider-Man fans didn't like these details, and that is okay. But some of them took a step further and started raging on social media. It reached a point where some of the actors of Spider-Man Homecoming started receiving death threats, which we'll talk about later. Michelle Jones is not MJ. Back when Homecoming released, a lot of people said that Michelle Jones wasn't the real MJ, and that we were going to get the real redhead MJ later on, but that never happened. And even if she isn't the MJ that we all know, she is an alternate version of her. Just like Spider-Man 2099 is Spider-Man Innocence even if he isn't the original. Highest grossing Spider-Man saga. The MCU's Spider-Man trilogy is the one that has grossed the most money of all the Spider-Man movies. As of this moment, when I'm recording the video, the entire MCU Spider-Man trilogy has grossed more than $3.5 billion. The entire Raimi trilogy grossed $600 million. And the entire The Amazing Spider-Man movies grossed $400 million. So, even if you put the previous Spider-Man films together, the MCU's Spider-Man movies made more than 3 times that. And I don't know about you, but at least for me, that is a lot of money. So much that I can't even imagine. Tom Holland spoilers. Tom Holland is known for spoiling movies, so much that his fans put him the nickname of Spoiler-Man. He is known for leaking several details of different Marvel movies. The most known cases is when he leaked the title of Spider-Man Far From Home and the poster for Infinity War. Chronological error in Homecoming. Spider-Man Homecoming starts with the events of the first Avengers movie and then cuts to the events of Civil War, and the movie says that 8 years passed, but that doesn't make sense because the Avengers movie takes place in 2012 and Civil War takes place in 2016. So 2012 plus 8 years will be 2020. So unless time works differently in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, that is a chronological error. Tier 2. The tip of the iceberg. CEO of Sex. The CEO of Sex is a meme that already existed, but it became more popular when people started putting Ned's face on it. The meme became so popular that now it has many variants. I think that this meme started because in one scene of Spider-Man Homecoming, Ned says that he's
looking at porn.
Tom Holland in Into the Spider-Verse. The directors of Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, Phil Lord and Christopher Miller, wanted to include a character voiced by Tom Holland, but at the end Sony declined because it was too soon to do it in the first movie. So maybe it will happen in the next movie, Across the Spider-Verse. Freshman Year. Spider-Man Freshman Year is a new Spider-Man show that is set to release in Disney+, although we don't know the release date yet. Up to this day, we know next to nothing about the show. The only thing that we know about it is that it's supposed to narrate the events of the first year of Peter Parker as Spider-Man. Miles Morales. In Spider-Man Homecoming, we see Aaron Davis, Miles Morales' uncle, but in a deleted scene, we can hear Aaron Davis actually mentioning his nephew Miles.
Just do, man. Yeah, sorry, Miles. I'm not gonna make it. Yeah, I'm just stuck.
Misleading trailers. It's already a tradition for Marvel to put misleading scenes on its trailers, and in the case of the Spider-Man movies, it was not going to be different. In Far From Home, they put a different suit than the one that they use in the movie. And also, for obvious reasons, they completely removed Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire from the trailer.
Go get him, Tiger!
In Spider-Man No Way Home, we can hear Betty Brant saying the famous MJ's words, "Go get him, Tiger." Also, in Spider-Man Homecoming, before Michelle is revealed to be MJ, we see a guy running in a tiger suit, revealing that she is in fact the MJ of this universe. License plates. One of the gimmicks of the MCU's Spider-Man movies is that most of the license plates make reference to Spider-Man comics. The license plates in Aaron Davis' car reads UCSM01, which is a reference to Ultimate Comics Spider-Man Issue 1, the comic where Miles Morales made his debut. The license plates in the MIT lady's car reads 63 ASM 3, which is a reference to the Amazing Spider-Man Issue 3 released in 1963, the first time that the Dr. Octopus appeared in the comics. Vision and War Machine. Vision and War Machine were supposed to have a cameo in Spider-Man Homecoming. They were supposed to help Spider-Man and Iron Man to save the ferry, but at the end the idea was scrapped. But we have a concept art. Ultimate Suit Iron Man. The Iron Man suit that Tony Stark wears in Spider-Man Homecoming is a reference to the suit that Iron Man wears in the Ultimate Comics. Tier 3. Below the Surface. Uncle Ben. Up to this day we know next to nothing about the Uncle Ben in the MCU universe. The only hints that we have of his existence is in the suitcase that Peter uses in Far From Home. Also, he's briefly mentioned in the What If episode Zombies, where Spider-Man mentions his name.
This, I guess. My mom, Dad, Uncle Ben, Mr. Stark.
Although that is an alternate universe and we are not certain of his existence in the main MCU universe. So, if he isn't mentioned in Freshman Year, he might as well not existed. Batman reference. In Spider-Man Homecoming, when the Vulture catches Spider-Man, the Vulture is framed against the moon, which is a reference to Batman. And to be more specific, is a reference to Michael Keaton Batman, the actor who plays the Vulture. He plays Batman in the 1989 film, where his Batwing is also framed with the moon. 3 Tom Hollands. Before the release of Spider-Man No Way Home, a lot of people were speculating that we weren't going to get Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield in the movie. Instead, we were going to get 3 Tom Hollands wearing the respective suits of Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire, because seeing Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield and Tom Holland together sounded too good to be true. It's a good thing that that was only speculation. VR video games. There are VR video games for both Spider-Man Homecoming and Spider-Man Far From Home. You can play them on your PC if you have an Oculus Rift or any other VR device. Although they don't look particularly groundbreaking, they are good oddities. MCU suits in Spider-Man PS4. In the Marvel's Spider-Man game made by Insomniac, you can play with every MCU's Spider-Man suit up to date. Recently, they added the suits feature in Spider-Man No Way Home. Sadly, you need a PlayStation 5 and the PS5 version of the game to use those suits. Fist. We know that the place where Aunt May works is named Fist. In the comics, Fist is owned by Martin Lee, aka Mr. Negative. He hasn't been mentioned in the movies, but it will be interesting to have him as a villain in a future movie. Iron Man t-shirts. At the end of Spider-Man Homecoming, we can see Peter wearing the same t-shirt that Pepper Potts was wearing in Iron Man 3, which means that after the scene where Iron Man takes a Spider-Man suit, he didn't buy him new clothes. Instead, he gave him clothes that he was no longer using. Crusher Hogan. In the charity scene in Far From Home, you can see a poster with the name of Crusher Hogan on it, which means that in the MCU universe it's canon that Spider-Man used to be a wrestler and he fucked Crusher Hogan just like in the comics. Tie-in comics. There are tie-in comics for both Spider-Man Homecoming and Spider-Man Far From Home. The Homecoming tie-in comic narrates the events of Civil War, and the Far From Home tie-in comic narrates the events of Spider-Man Homecoming. Yeah, not the most creative comics. Also, there are a couple more of Spider-Man comics that take place in the MCU universe. So, even if they're not the best comics, they're fun collectibles to say the least. Tier 4. The bottom of the iceberg. Peter in Iron Man 2. Tom Holland said in an interview that the kid that appears in Iron Man 2 and is saved by Tony is none other than Peter Parker, although this hasn't been confirmed by Kevin Feige or any other head at Marvel Studios. I guess that you could add this to your headcanon if you want to. Mysterio stalking Peter. Before they actually meet in the movie, you can see that Mysterio is spying on Peter Parker in one of the first scenes of the movie. The funny thing about this is that it wasn't discovered, and Jake Gyllenhaal got tired of waiting, and he just revealed this detail on his Instagram. Benjamin Squires. Benjamin Squires is a music composer. He made the music for the Spider-Man Far From Home trailer. Also, he made his own soundtrack for Spider-Man Homecoming and Spider-Man No Way Home. Saying that his soundtrack sounds good is the underestimation of the year. His soundtrack sounds amazing. If you want to hear it, I'll leave a link in the description. Spider-Gwen. Tom Holland said recently in an interview that once he hits 30, he wants to stop playing Spider-Man. And he wants to do more things with his life than just acting. And he would like his character to be replaced with none other than Spider-Gwen. Civil War original suit. Originally, they were going to use a different suit for Spider-Man in Civil War. It doesn't look that different, but at least in my opinion, it looks better than the one that they use in the movie. Also, Hasbro released a figure of this suit. Trailer link in Homecoming. In Spider-Man Homecoming, in the scene where Peter is looking at his laptop, you can see that he's watching a Spider-Man video on YouTube. But if you go to the link that is on that frame, it will take you to the Spider-Man Homecoming trailer. Robbie Robertson in Homecoming. Going back to the same frame of Peter's laptop, you can see that the video was uploaded by a user with the name of Rocket Robinson 67. Many people believe that this is none other than Robbie Robertson, famous head editor of the Daily Bugle. Kraven the Hunter. Tom Holland said in an interview that if they didn't get to make a movie about the multiverse in Spider-Man No Way Home, they would have made a movie where the main villain was Kraven the Hunter. Although I prefer the idea of the multiverse, I really hope that Kraven the Hunter gets his time to shine. Also, during a small frame of Spider-Man Homecoming, you can see an awning that displays the word Kravenov. This is a reference to Kraven's real name, Sergei Kravenov.
Fortnite.
Recently, they added the MCU's Spider-Man suit to Fortnite. It also features the face of the actor Tom Holland. And if you bought the bundle, you also get MJ. Although, if you want the suits but you didn't buy them, you shouldn't worry because everything comes back to the store pretty often. Waverly Flamps. Waverly Flamps is a YouTube channel of John Watts. He is none other than the director of the MCU's Spider-Man movies. And honestly, it's inspiring how he started making small movies on his YouTube channel and now he literally directed the highest grossing Spider-Man films. Haha, who knows, maybe one day I'll direct a Spider-Man project or something. Just kidding. Unless... Ow! Okay, I'll stop. I'll leave the link to his channel in the description. Tier 5. Shallow Waters. Bromance. It's clear that Jake Gyllenhaal and Tom Holland have a really good chemistry. This went so far that Tom Holland said in an interview that if the director of the movie wanted to make his character homosexual, he was okay with it. Also, Tom Holland posted some memes about it on his Instagram. Ben Reilly. Marvel had plans to make the homemade suit more similar to the Ben Reilly suit, aka the Scarlet Spider. We know this thanks to a concept art made for Civil War. Also, the Scarlet Spider suit was considered again for Homecoming, as well as the superior Spider-Man suit. Also, they had plans to make their own spider suit look more faithful to the one in the comics. Far From Home Extended Cut. During a short period of time, Marvel released an extended cut of Spider-Man Far From Home on cinemas. Sadly, there isn't a way to buy or to see this movie right now. The things that we know about it is that it includes the scene of Spider-Man fighting the Mafia that is on the trailer, that they cut from the regular movie. Also, it includes more scenes of Jake Gyllenhaal as Quentin Beck. Gummy's predicted Infinity War trailer. In the scene where Peter buys a sandwich from Delmar's, he also buys a bag of gummies. If you look at the expiration date on the gummies, you can see that it's the same date that the Infinity War trailer was released. The Defenders. We all know that Matt Murdock appears in Spider-Man No Way Home. What you might not know is that Jessica Jones says the famous words,
"If you say with great power comes great responsibility, I swear I'll throw up on you."
I think that it's safe to say that we'll see MCU's Spider-Man teaming up with the Defenders more often. Dummy. In Spider-Man No Way Home, we can see the return of an old MCU character. That is the one and only Tommy, Tony Stark's robot assistant that appears in all of the Iron Man movies. Norman Osborn in Far From Home. In Spider-Man Far From Home, we were supposed to get a glance at who bought the Avengers Tower. In the final swing, we were supposed to see Spider-Man swinging around the Avengers Tower, but with the Oscar logo on it. At the end, this idea was scrapped. I think that for obvious reasons. Man-Spider What If. In the Disney Plus show, What If, we were supposed to get an episode of the Man-Spider, which means Peter Parker turning into an actual spider. But at the end, the episode was scrapped because it was too dark. It's a shame that this episode was scrapped. Hopefully, they will reconsider it for season 2. Tier 6 Dark Waters. Mandela Effect. When Peter is about to blip, many people remember that Peter says, "Mr. Stark, I don't wanna go," or "I don't wanna go, Mr. Stark," which he never said, as I'm about to show you.
I don't want to go. I don't want to go, sir. Please. Please, I don't want to go. I don't want to go.
I don't wanna go wasn't on the script. The scene where Spider-Man disappears was less emotional, but Tom Holland improvised, and the directors of the movie decided to keep that scene. Also, in Spider-Man No Way Home, when Andrew Garfield says "I love you guys" wasn't on the script, and was improvised by the actor. Disney vs. Sony. We all know that in 2019, Spider-Man almost left the MCU. It was because Disney was only winning the 5% of the Spider-Man film's profits, and they wanted a 50-50 split. Sony declined. This almost got Spider-Man out of the MCU, but at the end they struck a deal, and now Disney wins the 25% of the movie's profits. Symbiote Tom Holland concept art. Thomas Tuckrest is an artist that works for Marvel Studios. He makes concept art for the movies, and he shared his own take on how Tom Holland's Spider-Man will look like with the symbiote. Spider-Geddon. Up to this day, there has been 2 Spider-Verse events in the comics. The first one with the eponymous name of Spider-Verse, and the second one is named Spider-Geddon. In one of the panels of Spider-Geddon, you can see that Tom Holland's Spider-Man is there, but this is most likely just an Easter egg. Of Human Bondage. Of Human Bondage is a book that narrates the story of an orphan boy that moves with his uncles. If that sounds familiar to you, it's because that is the same book that Michelle is reading in Spider-Man Homecoming. How did MJ find Spider-Man's identity? In Spider-Man Far From Home, in the scene where the drones are chasing the boss, when Peter says to everyone to look at the baby goats, you can see that everyone looked away but MJ, and that's how she found that Peter Parker is a Spider-Man. We know this thanks to the YouTuber, The Canadian Lad. I'll leave a link to his channel in the description. His videos are amazing to say the least. Tier 7 The Abyss. Sex scene. Tom Holland wanted Spider-Man Homecoming to have a sex scene, or at least something to give away that Spider-Man was having fun. Marvel declined the idea for obvious reasons. Willem Dafoe apparition. Tony Revolori death threats. Tony Revolori, the actor who plays Flash Thompson, started receiving multiple death threats when Spider-Man Homecoming was released. At first he was scared for his family, but at the end he learned to ignore them. Dafoe drip. Civil War original script. Spider-Man's role was supposed to be way bigger in Civil War. He was supposed to have more interactions with the other characters, but because the negotiations between Sony and Disney took longer than expected, the Russo brothers made 2 scripts for the movie, one with a bigger role for Spider-Man and one with a smaller role. At the end, we got the one with the smaller role. In fact, Spider-Man was supposed to be in the final battle instead of Black Panther. Every copy of No Way Home is personalized. I don't know about you, but at least the time that I saw Spider-Man No Way Home, Raimi's Spider-Man was played by Mr. Bean. Anthony Mackie and Sebastian Stan hate Tom Holland. Anthony Mackie and Sebastian Stan, the actors that respectively play the Winter Soldier and Falcon, don't seem to like Tom Holland too much. They are roasting each other every time they can.
You haven't seen Spider-Man Homecoming? I haven't seen the Falcon. Oh no, there isn't one. Sorry.
But this seems to be more of a meme or an inside joke, more than actual hate. July 18, 2017, Lip Sync Battle, Tom Holland. Do not research. Well, you stayed until the end. And wait, before you leave. I want to give a shout out to Funny Valentine, Ali Salar, and Mr. Dash. What a nice nickname. They have been really active in my last videos, and I thought that it would be nice to give them a shout out. If you want a shout out in the next video, give me a like, click the subscribe button, and post the answer of this equation, or just leave in the comments I stayed until the end, and I'll give you a shout out in the next video. And without anything else to say, I'll see you the next time.